Hello, I'm Jack O'Halloran, CEO of SKALE Labs. Happy to be here today. All right, so SKALE is helping move the world to the decentralized cloud. So what does that mean? When I was a SaaS entrepreneur, I thought this quote was pretty good. Fast forward a few years later, I realized it's kind of an outdated model. I'm really passionate about decentralized business models and what we can build with decentralized systems, and we can't do it without decentralized storage. So let's talk about what SKALE is doing to make that happen. We're building an elastic blockchain network. I think there's sometimes a misconception that SKALE chains are just side chains. In reality, what we have is a configurable elastic network where every developer can have access to their own blockchain. They're also entirely compatible with Ethereum and the whole Web3 stack. You can run smart contracts in SKALE, you can run fast transactions, and you can do storage all within the sidechain. So excited to get into some more details with you. Traditional sidechains obviously have issues because it's much easier to get collusion amongst a smaller group of validators. SKALE works around that by leveraging from a large pool for randomness and then rotating validators intermittently. There's also incentives. So rotation, randomness, and incentives are a way to create more protection around smaller chains. So essentially, to probabilistically get 2/3 of any sidechain or SKALE chain, you would have to attack or own 2/3 of a broader network. So how do we do that? You have to get into the architecture. What's really happening here is SKALE is almost acting as a decentralized autonomous Kubernetes, where it's deploying Docker to developers and apportioning blockchains that can be used individually as independent blockchains for storage, for state, for computation, for running your family ledger, whatever you want to do with it. Or it can be plugged back into Ethereum and be compatible with the whole Web3 stack. So this happens because inside every single node, there's a certain portion of the resources that are dedicated to orchestration, auditing, and administration of the network that work in concert with smart contracts on the Ethereum mainnet. So what's happening is these things are working together to deploy resources to developers over periods of time. So also, outside of the core, you have virtualized subnodes. So each one of these subnodes can actually be on an independent blockchain. So one node could be running 128 independent blockchains, or you could be running larger resources, or you could get access to the entire node and pay more within the system to get more space. So we're very excited about how storage is leveraged within the SKALE network. How do we do that? So one, we've modified EVM. The code's live. Please check it out on the GitHub. But EVM essentially acts as a store and call function within each SKALE chain. Because of this dynamic, you can run full games, applications, websites, systems, networks. You could run an entire search engine entirely on a SKALE chain without accessing any outside environment. Lastly, we're formally launching SKALE ML in Boston in a few weeks. What this is you can run pre-trained neural network models. So you could run TensorFlow inside smart contracts. What that means, and that's not, by the way, not possible without storage. So you can do fraud detection within smart contracts. You can do price prediction, image recognition, and censorship is something, it's the four-letter word we don't like, we want to block, but decentralized groups may want to censor their own platforms with rules they agree on. So you can actually train SKALE ML to help enable your system to work in the way that you want it to work. Okay, so a big piece of this is usability. So there's an NPM package we'd love for you to check out. It's all live. It's on the SKALE GitHub. You can access the resources here. If you want to learn more, we'll be at ETH Berlin all weekend. You can also join the Discord. And anyways, thank you. Cheers.